All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special live opportunity call. My name is Brandon Ivey. I'm the CEO and founder of Ivy League Crypto Academy, ILCA for short, from Los Angeles, California. I just got back in town from a marketer summit event, the very first one that we had, and was in Atlanta, Georgia. We were there for 5 days. A lot of our members that you see on the Zoom were also there, learning a lot of information. As I stated before, in my 24th year in direct selling, it wasn't until I started to take learning about more about marketing seriously that my business began to take off. And once you have that skill set, it can never be taken from you. You will have success in anything that you do. Have you ever seen individuals that have had success in one company and then you see them have success in another and another and another, compared to others who have had success in one company and can never duplicate it? Do you know what that difference is? You know, the person that had it in one company but can't duplicate it, it was more than likely luck. And that happens, and I'm proud of them. But the ones that are able to do it over and over and over and over again, it's because they learned something. They learned a skill set that has allowed them to be able to market and brand themselves and their business. And that is what we also teach here in ILCA. Tonight, we're going to talk about two main topics, and I'm going to share a screen right now. You know, after 6 years now in crypto, I've learned a couple of things as well. I've learned that there is something that people need and that there is something that people want, and they're not the same thing. I know what people need. People need crypto education. But if you need crypto education, then you need to know why. Why do I need crypto education? Why should I even care? You know, I heard about Bitcoin for the very first time in 2010 when I was a gamer. I was watching G4 TV. I was looking at Comic-Con things, and the nerds with their we call them beast rigs. You know, you go to Newegg and build your own computer. You don't go to Target or anything and buy a store brand. You build your own. And they were turning their rigs into mining something called Bitcoin. And I'm like, what is this, monopoly money? And I didn't think there was anything real to it. And then fast forward a couple of years, I kept hearing about it. I was Black Diamond of one company, and the CEO of that company said that we need an alternative way to be able to send payments to our international members in countries like Kazakhstan and Nigeria. It's just way too expensive. Somebody that makes $50 commission, by the time we get it to them, it's only $15. And he thought of Bitcoin as a solution. This was 2014. Myself and the other leaders shot him down and said, you're crazy. The government's not going to allow this Bitcoin crap. 2016 rolls around. Now, I can say the rest of this story because of what just happened in the news 2 days ago. You know, I always say that friends of mine, people that I knew, were starting to make millions of dollars in this Bitcoin thing. And I would ask them, you know, how are you doing this? What is Bitcoin? And I would say, to my surprise, that they didn't know what it was. They just said, Bitcoin keeps going up. Just get in part of this company. Well, if you're not educated, we now find out that that company was a scam. It was scamming people, but people were making a lot of money. And I knew at that time, I made a decision, said, I'm not going to join something I don't understand. So I took it upon myself to try to do my own research. And I spent 6 months studying about Bitcoin and crypto. And I came to learn two things that changed my life. The first is why we need crypto education. And the first was that blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet today, whether we like it or not, believe it or not, trust it or not. Your opinion is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's happening. Only right now we can decide what part we're going to play in this role, whether we're going to carve our own niche within it or we will be a victim of it. The second part I'll share a little later, but let's stick with the first part as why. See, what is the reality of the situation today? The fact that most people are going to fail financially. 93% don't have good salaries. 95% will not succeed in business. 97% will retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. Most people do not have $1,000 in their savings account. Most people cannot afford a $400 emergency without going into debt. And this was all before COVID. This was before inflation, before the recession. Do you realize right now that most Americans have less than a little more than $400 a month they're losing in buying power every single month because of inflation from just 1 year ago? So we can't control the things that happen to us, but we can control how we react to them. This is a fact. But I want you to think about this. Digital currency is the new financial revolution. And when we talk about Bitcoin and crypto, do not think of it as money. This is the mistake everybody makes, especially those that don't understand or believe in it. You need to think of it as new technology, as software. Vladimir Putin figured it out in 2016. If you know what his manifest destiny is to bring back the greatness of the Soviet Union. And how do you do that when the West has had their boot on your neck since World War II, when the US dollar is the dominant asset on the planet? How do you achieve your greatness? How do you get underneath that yoke? You adopt new technology. You outbeat them. See, the Soviet Union died without firing a shot because the United States government outspent them. They couldn't keep up. But he said something. He said, look around on the ground right now. The Stone Age didn't end due to the lack of stones. The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. There are still stones on the ground. We just don't use them like we used to in the day. There's better technology. When the airplane was invented, it only took a little more than 65 years before we were walking on the moon. Who saw that coming? When the internet came about with email, David Letterman made fun of Bill Gates. If you don't have an internet presence right now, you don't have a business. More so in today's age, each individual has an internet presence. And we're now moving into the next generation of this technological movement or revolution called the gig economy, the digital economy, digital currency, decentralization, personal ownership. We've heard of Uber, a transportation company that owns no cars. Amazon, the world's largest retail chain that has no stores. Airbnb, a hotel chain that owns no property. Bitcoin came out in 2009 at 0.003 cents. It got all the way to $69,000 1 year ago. It is a best performing asset, and that's another thing people don't fully understand. If you want to look at crypto from any type of monetary aspect, think of it as an asset, like property, like a house, like a painting or an art of value. It is an asset. It's the best performing asset of the past decade period. You know what number 2 is? Berkshire Hathaway stock. It's a far number 2. But the owner of that company, Warren Buffett, who is not a crypto enthusiast at all, but he does understand the technology and has already invested more than $1 billion in fintech technologies, crypto-based banks, and the infrastructure of the metaverse. What do they know? Let's stick into Bitcoin, for example. Why is it as valuable as some may think? Well, one, because it is universal in value. 1 Bitcoin in Japan is worth 1 Bitcoin in the United States. It's not like Forex, foreign exchange. It's the same all over the planet. There's only going to be 21 million in existence. There's 51 million millionaires and billionaires on the world, and there's not enough Bitcoin to go around. So classic supply and demand. If they want all Bitcoin, which they can afford right now, they all can't own 1 whole Bitcoin. What happens to the price? It goes up. It's also permissionless, meaning that you can send Bitcoin anywhere around the world, as easy as sending an email with no permission from the government, the bank, Western Union, or a CEO, with no limit on how much you can send, with minimum transaction fee. You know what the latest trend right now of the billionaires getting into crypto? They're not buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're interested in stable coins that's tied 1-to-1 to the US dollar, because the stable coins allow them to send as much as they want, cross-border payments without the delay or the high fees of an intermediary. I really started just learning this a couple of weeks ago, what they're doing. Think Bitcoin and Ethereum? No. New thing on the block that you're going to start to see is CBDCs. And I will be talking extensively in 2023 about the virtues and the challenges of CBDCs. It's exciting and scary at the same time. You've heard me mention that before, but I'm going to make a whole series on this, on should we accept it? We'll talk about that. But in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, the world's first global decentralized cryptocurrency. In 2009, Bitcoin's value was less than 1 penny. 2010, it got up to 40 cents. 2016, $600. 2021, $69,000. If you would have invested $100 in Bitcoin in 2010, today it will be worth over $60 million. But people don't even know what it is. I tell you right now, 90% of people in crypto, meaning people who have bought crypto, don't know what the blockchain is. Ask them. Can you explain to me what the blockchain is? They think it's the same thing as Bitcoin. People still want to know, what is Bitcoin? I heard a story that my CMO and several members were out to dinner this past weekend, or last weekend before I got to Atlanta. The waitress, almost 30 years old, never heard of Bitcoin. A lot of people don't even know what it is. They want to know, is it real? Am I too late? How do I buy it? And most importantly, can I spend it? And that is where ILCA comes into play. Because when I got myself educated, I taught myself, and I got started. I started with $30. If you've heard my story, I don't have time to get into that tonight, but I was going to start with $250,000. And the deal did not go through. Whenever they say 99%, you're there, you're halfway there. Last second, it didn't go through. $30 I started, but I had my education. So it really didn't matter the amount I started with. I still flipped that 30 into 6 figures in 3.5 months. And some will say, well, that was the year that Bitcoin went up to 20,000. You just got lucky and rode the wave up. That is partly true. But here's what happened next. 2018, Bitcoin started to come down. So did the entire market. Everybody that got in on the hype of it, FOMO, fear of missing out, started buying at $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, started to panic when it came down, thought they were losing their money, and didn't know the very first basic rule: buy low, sell high. They bought high and started selling it low. I made more money when the market was coming down than when it was going up because of my education. And people approached me and said, Brandy, could you create some crypto education, videos and do some speaking engagements and talk about this? Could you make that happen? And I was reluctant at first. In fact, I remember when I was approached, I told my Bitcoin buddy, and I encourage all of you guys in the ILCA community have heard me say this. You got to have a crypto buddy. We have the whole community as well. That's where the community helps. And I said, I hope they don't ask me to create some kind of educational videos. And that's exactly what they did. So I was reluctant, and that's partly true, Miguel. It might be in disguise. Because had I did start with 250K, but it's in my nature to teach, because I made 7 figures before I ever got into crypto. It's not, for me, it's not about the money. I feel I have a bigger purpose. The money is extra. The more money gives me more resources to do more, but I will still be doing the same thing. And I don't know, everything happens for a reason. So after a couple of years of me consulting for different crypto companies and providing crypto, videos and content, even at universities, I said, when you want something done right, you got to really do it yourself. And I contacted the CEO of Marketing Disruptor and said, what with the content that I have, what can we do? What can we market this, wrap this up? Because I've been doing it all wrong for the last couple of years. And ILCA was born. So what is ILCA? Well, ILCA stands for Ivy League Crypto Academy for Crypto Education. We're the global training center where we want to teach you everything you need to know. We do this at the beginning with courses: Bitcoin 101, Crypto Advanced, how to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and the Internet of Things. But then we expanded it, because there was something else that I used to do. I used to do Bitcoin boot camps around the country. On a Saturday afternoon, allow the community to come in and for the very first time for many of them, hear about this thing called Bitcoin and crypto and give you the basics of what it is. Well, COVID shut me down from doing that, but we brought it back, but in the form of a 5-day challenge. We also offer VIP membership, Inner Circle, ILCA marketing, one-on-one consulting, and by the end of this year, 7 lessons with at least 15 videos in each. My NFTs is now at 18 videos. Bitcoin 101, advanced crypto, how to trade Bitcoin and crypto, Internet of Things, DeFi, NFT, and Metaverse. More than 100 videos. You can stop, pause, and rewind and go at your own pace. But what is a 5-day challenge? Well, I believe that you need to know the basics. You know, if you're a basketball player and or a coach, and on day 1 of practice, all the kids run in the gym and the first thing they do is pick up the basketball, run to the 3-point line, and start chucking up shots like they're Steph Curry. Coach says, put that ball down. You're running, conditioning for 2 weeks. You don't even touch a basketball for 2 weeks. You've got to know the fundamentals. So what we do at no charge, free to the community, is for 5 days, we cover one topic a day of the basics. Are you familiar with Satoshi Nakamoto? How does the blockchain work? Why do you need cryptocurrencies? Unlocking it. What is wallets? Buying Bitcoin. What about security? And then the path to becoming a digital currency billionaire. Some people say, Brandon, you know, is that kind of out of touch to talk about being a billionaire? Absolutely not. We're talking about the beginning of the greatest revolution in the financial sector in human history. The world's richest people in the next 15 to 20 years are going to be and come out of this blockchain space during this era. Now, let me tell you something else as a secret here. You're not going to get rich because you bought Bitcoin and stashed it away. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to identify and find the next Fortune 500 type companies taking advantage of the blockchain before they become a household name and you investing in them. That's the ultimate game plan. But there's steps you got to take to get there. So all you have to do is register for this for free. You'll get an email that will invite you to a private Facebook group where we stream this live. There's no cost to doing that. But we also invite you to become a VIP member. Because what is different between me and someone saying, I'll just go watch videos on YouTube? Well, I'll tell you now, those videos on YouTube are outdated. Every 30 days, whatever crypto content is out there is outdated. I have to constantly upgrade and update my videos. I have to stay on top of this information daily. And what if you have questions? Can you ask YouTube a question? Could you ask any of those big leaders that's trying to get you into the next hype company questions? Will they be willing to spend that time with you? I already tell you the answer to that is no. No, they won't. So what separates them is that I've created a VIP slot so that during the 5-day challenge for one time $97, you can get on Zoom with me while everybody else is on the Facebook side. Just like you see, there's a Zoom with a bunch of people with me right now, but I'm also streaming on Facebook. The people on Zoom will be able to ask questions. And that's where the aha moments work. And I cut off the live feed for those that came on free. So you want to be a VIP member, and VIP member also allows you to become a promoter of ILCA. Then we also have the inner circle. If someone were to ask me, Brandon, what is one of the most valuable parts of ILCA? Outside of the marketing, I would tell you it is the inner circle, because inner circle means I get to talk to you every single day, except Friday and Sunday mornings. But Monday through Thursday, we do something called the Crypto Talk. And in the Crypto Talk, again, what separates me from the gurus that's on YouTube, what they do, and I learned this the hard way early on, I was following Tiki Twariri. What they do is they look up information, right? They do the same thing I do when they're reading charts and finding stuff. They make a move. Then they go on YouTube and they tell you all about it. And then they know all of their followers make the move, and then they do the opposite. I figured that out very quickly. I also figured out do the opposite of what they say and I make money. With me, I don't look at the information beforehand. I am going on the journey live with you. I'm doing my own research like I normally would. I just turn on the camera so that you can be a part of it and you can see what's going on. Here's an example. We cover things like my own personal investments in the crypto space. We read the charts. We do opportunity alerts. I will show you some of my portfolios. A lot of these so-called gurus out there won't show you that. Are you really making any money? I'll make money with you live. We just did this last week while in Atlanta. Give you an example. While in Atlanta, we was doing some research, reading some of the news, and caught wind of one token. And I'm not going to say that token here because you got to be in the inner circle to hear it. And I did quick research on it, and it was not in my goal or plan to even do any purchases. In fact, I don't like doing any of that when I'm on the road. But it caught my attention, and I saw something was about to happen, and I bought some of it. And it was a teachable moment because I didn't use my own money. I took money from another token I already had that wasn't performing for me at the moment, used that to swap into this coin, and then 24 hours later, that token went up 37%. Then I sell about the amount that I put in, put it back into the token I took it from. The rest is all profit. I did that live in front of everybody. Showed you how to move from one wallet to another, how to do it on exchanges. Hold your hand and ask your questions. We also go over unlimited white papers. We have 16 hours worth of crypto talk. And one of the biggest is access to our thriving community because it's not just about me. It's about the community. I don't know everything. And the members sometimes bring opportunities that we're able to take a look and to take advantage of as well. Then we have one-on-one consulting. This is for those individuals who say, I actually need more personal touch on my own personal portfolio. I might have some questions I'm not comfortable asking in front of the community. Right, we can set up one-on-one consulting, and we're going to have this set up not just for myself, but with other members in our community as well. Then we have the courses. All of our training is done by streaming video. You're going to learn how to buy your first Satoshi. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. Store your Bitcoin safely in crypto wallets. Purchase and sell with Bitcoin. Trade cryptocurrencies. Learn how altcoins work. We have Bitcoin 101, 15 lessons. This is just the basics. You're going to learn about the history of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. We also have Crypto Advanced. This is for a little bit more advanced. Some of you may say, I don't need Bitcoin 101, Brandon. I need a little bit more advanced. Well, we have that as well. You're going to learn about the economic ecosystem of cryptocurrencies. Then we have how to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This is an important lesson that you need to learn, even if you don't decide to be a trader. I am not a day trader. I know how, and because I know how, that serves me in how I build my portfolio. I can do a trade whenever I want to. I just didn't like staring at the charts 24/7. It wasn't for me. Then we have the Internet of Things. You ever heard of Web3? What exactly is this technology going to be used for in the real world? You see, here's the difference between me and the things I talk about than other gurus when they're trying to bring you opportunities, especially in the MLM network marketing space, where they take a project and wrap a compensation plan and multi-levels around it. No. I look at the project itself. What is the real world use of whatever token they may represent? I don't care about, if I wanted to recruit, I can go back to network marketing. I'm talking about real money now, investing in real projects, not making money on how many people you can recruit. But this is going to tell you just what the blockchain is going to be used for, what the future is going to look like. Internet of Things. Then we got even bigger here, the marketing platform. You're going to say, well, what does marketing have to do with crypto? Everything. If I said that blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet, don't you think you might want to learn how to market in these new industries that's going to be coming and forming? We have marketing. Now, I'm not talking about simple build a capture page and landing page. I know how to do that. There's plenty of companies that do that. We're talking about real marketing, the only all-in-one CRM system that's simple to use. The first ever platform built to manage a business's online presence and customer follow-up with two-way texting and email, sales pipeline management, customer reviews, automated scheduling, sales funnel, website builder, SEO tools, and so much more. And do you know what the so much more is? Well, we just came back from Atlanta. Another difference is that you're getting live training from the creator of ILCA marketing. That's the gem. Not that you're just going to learn how to build a capture page and maybe market ILCA. But I'm sure many of you are involved in other businesses outside of crypto. Or you may have an idea on how to build a business. You just don't know where to get started. This marketing platform will help you to build in any business. Do anything. You might be a part of another network marketing company. See, the thing about ILCA is that this is not network marketing. This is not MLM. Therefore, it is not in competition. It is here to help and build the foundation of whatever you're doing. It enhances what you're already doing with the right tools in place. And the cost is compressed. What I used to spend like $1,500 a month on, now you can get for $199 with this system, plus live training. And that is also the key. With crypto education and all the courses, what also separates me is a live training. On top of the crypto talks that we do, I do live training for those who buy my courses every Tuesday and Wednesday night. So I can do it live with you and you can ask questions about it. That's the biggest piece. Same with the marketing. There's training twice a week live for the marketing. As a CMO will say, you're not paying for the product, you're paying for the training. And that training is priceless. It's priceless. Now, remember I said earlier, there were two things that I learned that changed my life. One of them was that what blockchain technology is and that everybody needs to know education, but that's not what everybody wants. Everybody wants to make money. If you want to make money, type money in the chat box. You want to make money. That's why you're here. That's why I saw Bitcoin for the first time. I wanted to make some money. I didn't understand what I was getting into. Everybody wants to make money, and that's okay. So I'm going to give you what you need, and we're going to give you what you want. Who wants to make not just a little bit of money, but a lot of money? Here's how you can do it safely. And I'm not talking about selling nodes, mining machines, trading bots, guaranteed compound programs, whatever other stuff they got going on there. And you got to worry about, is it going to get shut down from the government? Is somebody going to run off with your money? Is it a scam? Because right now, they're not just shutting down companies going after the founders. They're going after the promoters as well. How would you like to make money regardless of what the market is doing, whether it's going up or down? It doesn't matter because we are selling picks and shovels. Who made the most money during the gold rush? Was it the people out there digging in the ground for gold? Or was it those who set up shop and started selling the picks and shovels and the pans and the nets and all that stuff and the wheelbarrows? They made the most money. That's what we're doing. And someone asked me that, I explained to them, I said, Brandon, why don't you, if you get into, maybe selling some nodes and things, I said, listen here. If you try to pin down one industry in crypto, it will be obsolete in 6 months. If I focus on education, you will be able to move in any industry that is evolving within the blockchain space. Education will never stop. It'll never run dry. But is there any money in that? Well, let me show you what our affiliate pay is. This is not multiple levels. It's only one level affiliate. You share with somebody, you get paid. We have the VIP challenge for $97, our workbook for $17, our inner circle for $29.97, our marketing system from 99 to 199. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of hint right now. You'll want the 199 for the marketing system. In about a week and a half or so, I'll be doing a special showing you what ILCA is going to look like going into 2023. And yeah, you're going to want the 199 marketing system. We also have all of the courses. You can get them all right now. We have a special. You can get all bundle pack, the box set for $997. Regular price is about almost $3,000, $2,997. That price is going to be going up. But we got a special right now for $997. That price is also going to be going up. That's right, Miguel, $199 a month. Or you can get them individually for $350 each. And what that comes with is also live training. And that's what everybody wants. So let me talk about just two other things that we offer that has a monthly recurring: our inner circle and our marketing system. Remember earlier I said that the federal government has released a report that said because of inflation, the average American has about $460 less buying power every single month from a year ago, doing nothing different because of inflation. Let me show you how you can make that back. If you shared ILCA with 10 people who get our inner circle and our marketing system, 10 people, you would be doing $447.90 a month. Let me repeat that. Just 10 people that are a part of our inner circle and our marketing system. Do you understand this inner circle stuff? There are others out there that know far less than me, charging $1,000 a month just to speak for 4 times a month, once a week, and there's no Q&A. And people are paying $1,000 a month for that information. Only 1 hour, 4 hours a month, $1,000. This is priceless right here. People have, I have one gentleman that's made over $1 million listening to me from my crypto talks over the years. What if you want more? What if you shared it with 25 people? 25 people on just the inner circle and the marketing system. And I'm also speaking to you marketers that just came back from our marketer summit last week. You just learned a whole lot of stuff. You want to put it to use. 25 people, that's $1,100 a month. What if 50 people? That's $2,200 a month. What about 100? What if you set a goal for yourself? You set a goal. I'm going to have 100 people using just the inner circle and the marketing system. 100 people. Guess what that does? That's almost $5,000. It's $4,479 a month. That's a full-time income. Now, I want to talk to you big boys and girls out there. The ones who call themselves marketers, I want you to prove it. What do I mean by that? Well, the federal government also came up with another report. And for the first time, they started to take into effect looking at how many American households are involved in crypto. This year, they did their first report based on last year from 2021. And they came to the conclusion that 46% of people in America involved in crypto were making more than $100,000 a year. 46%. That's almost 50-50 chance. Do you know the same government says that 97% of all Americans are going to retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. Only 1 out of 100 people is going to be well off after working their whole life. My father was one of them. He's a lucky few. Got the 7th highest pension in the state of California. And that's still not enough. But how could you do that in crypto? Better yet, I said, how can we provide that for our members? If you had those same 100 people that actually got everything that ILCA has to offer, that's more than $100,000 in 12 months. Now for you big boys and girls, what if you had a network of 1,000 people? See, I'm not looking for networkers, network marketers, influencers. Some of you have 5,000 Facebook friends. Some of you have 50,000 Twitter followers and YouTube followers. You have communities. You know that the community needs content and information like this. How would you like to monetize your network? You provide something for them for free because all roads lead through the 5-day challenge. It doesn't cost you anything. The system will do the rest. And if you had 1,000 people in your network that decided to get everything ILCA has to offer, that's more than $1 million over the course of 12 months. Like I said, we want to provide what you need and also provide what you want. Next year, you're going to see our certification program in place. We're going to have different events taking place. ILCA boot camp, certification coaches. You're going to see other people teaching. It's not just going to be me. So what do you do now? We'll get back to the person who invited you and get yourself registered for the next 5-day challenge. If you're sitting there saying, yeah, he's a slick talker, he knows his stuff, I don't know about that. Great. I'm not asking you to pull out your wallet. I'm asking you to register just to see what the 5-day challenge is. Take us out for a test drive and see if you think the information is valuable. Our next 5-day challenge is going to be on November 28th. And we have guest panelists, just to give you an idea of some of the famous ones. We've got the original Spider-Man, Mr. Tom Shank. We've got 8-figure earner, Dr. Byron Nelson. We've got this, we heard this last month, from professor of Morehouse College Business School, Professor Oscar Sistrunk, taught at Morehouse for 35 years. We always have different rotation of different speakers that come up that you get to learn from. So register for free. It doesn't cost you anything. I do encourage you to become a VIP to get the full experience. It's only one time, $97. I didn't realize that I spend on Wingstop $72 a week because I get my Friday nights is Wingstop night. $72 on Wingstop, really? $97 one time. You can be a VIP member. Now, people who understand the power of Bitcoin in this era will be one step closer to finding their financial freedom. I got to throw in another quote in there as well, because wealthy people who are already wealthy don't get in crypto to get wealthy. They get in crypto to stay wealthy. They understand the store of value. Yeah, man, I spend $72 a week. My boys eat. They have the wings. As a disclaimer, this information is intended for educational and training purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. As with all financial decisions, you should contact your licensed financial advisor before investing in any financial instrument. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the ILCA opportunity. You see all the faces that you see here right now. What if all of you just shared it with 5 to 10 people each? And imagine how big our network would be. What if all of you guys that were at the marketing summit last week use that training, use that sales information now? You all got the marketing system, and you had 10 people each on the next 5-day challenge. You will see our numbers quadruple very quickly. And you've now made enough money where it's paying for your marketing system every single month, because those same 10 individuals, that means you're earning more than $400 a month. What could you do now with extra money to put into your marketing ads, advertising, other businesses that you're building? See, we always teach when you make money, then you flip it. So what's coming up next? Well, next is we got the inner circle tomorrow morning. And oh, I got some good stuff to talk about tomorrow. James sent me over some stuff that I have not read the articles yet. I like looking right at the headline, and then I get excited because I know what's coming. I'm going to talk again about TCC because we know members of that community that are involved. But here's the SEC issues subpoenas to influencers of a $7 billion crypto project. $7 billion crypto project. And then I'm going to be starting a new session about CBDCs. Here, and it was perfect. It says, buying Bitcoin will quickly vanish when CBDCs launch. What does that mean? I've been doing a series called The Financial Crypto Storm is Coming. I'm telling you right now, the entire crypto industry is about to get wiped out. Not dead, It's not, the news is going to say that Bitcoin is dead. It's not going to kill it. It's going to be like the dot-com bubble bust in 2000, 2001. And all of the shaky hands, all the uneducated people, they're going to lose all of their portfolios. They're going to lose all their money. There might even, I got to put that on the board. There might be even a time where you're not even going to be able to figure out how to buy crypto. The government's going to do a major crackdown on this. But Bill Gates had already said something that, once you let the genie out the box, you can't put it back in. Bitcoin's too big to be stopped because it's worldwide. The US government has only so much to do. So ultimately, it will survive, just not in the way you see it today. It's not it's like AOL dial-up, comparing that to, Wi-Fi that we have today. But if you want to be able to survive, and not only survive, but find opportunity in every disaster, especially as a marketer, you always find opportunity in something when the world is changing. Then I do a series on that. And this is one of the ways I see happening as the financial crypto storm is coming, is these CBDCs, the government and the businesses and the banks. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, we're still covering Citigroup. Citigroup has that 184-page report on the metaverse. I think we're only on page 47 or 48. So if we have time at the end, I always cover that as well. So that's going to be tomorrow. For me, this is the beginning of November. After coming back from Atlanta, it's time to go to work. And I want to be able to write checks for those of you who use your marketing skills in place. You just get, how many of you, raise your hand if you were at the Marketer Summit last week? Turn your cameras on. See? What if you had 10 people with you there? You saw everything you got. Not only would you be helping those 10 people out, but you're also going to be making them $400 a month. All right, everybody, that is it for, did I want to do Q&A? Gina, I'll give it to you. You spent money and time. You flew down to Atlanta. You had your hand raised first. Gina, go right ahead.
I didn't have a question. I was kind of late when you said raise your hand if you were at the summit last week.
Well, since you have your hand up, I have one question for you. What was your biggest aha moment at the Marketer Summit last week?
How my mind was beginning to shift. That was my aha moment, because even though it was a lot for me because it was my first time, but I could just feel my mind starting to shift to somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That I wanted to, I don't know how to put it, but it's just, I felt a difference in the way I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest aha moment. And but everything was just awesome. I'm still in awe over the whole thing.
Fantastic.
I'm just like, yeah. I recommend anybody that can go to the next one. I'm going to be there.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina. Mr. Sanabria, you got your hand up. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I want to say, hey, fam. A few questions. First question is regarding the marketing system. Is it I forget if you mentioned if it was a tier or not. Like if you
there is two options. You have $99 option, and you have the $199 option.
No, by tier, like if give people through the system, they like what ILCA is about, and they also want to market as well too.
Oh, I only have one tier. Only one tier.
Gotcha. All right, that's question number one.
Not multiple. Yeah, this is not network marketing. Now,
right, cool.
We have the option of doing two, and we will, if we have certain type of numbers, we can always revisit that in the future to give you, because I always like to be able to pay more money. But right now it's just one tier.
Right. The other question is, when is the next marketing event, and are they ever gonna, for that question first, when's the next marketing event?
Is that one we're ready to share publicly, James?
Yeah, it's about 12 months from now.
Okay.
So it'll either be in September or October of next year. I'll be looking at the calendar, waiting for the responses for all the surveys that come back. But it will probably be September or October. It will be in Atlanta as well, you know, the second greatest city on the planet. So yeah, the first one is New York City. So it'll be in the second greatest city.
Awesome, awesome. And as far as that event goes, is there ever going to be consideration for making it virtual?
Not now, because I think all of them will tell you, everybody that was that there's a lot of them that were actually in the event here live. A lot of them will tell you that we do virtual every single week.
You don't want virtual.
And, and I've watched people virtual from April to now. And then in a 5-day event, they got more done in 5 days than in 6.5 months. So 5 days live, it probably won't be a full 5 days. It'll probably be like 3.5 or 4. But that week-long event is sort of like going into the military to pick up your new exercise program versus going to the gym at Planet Fitness. I've had a membership for 7.5 years now, and I've only gone there twice. But when I was in boot camp, it was only 6 weeks long, but they did a whole shift on my physical body. So yeah, the virtual really is not a big benefit to a lot of people, and a lot of companies do virtual, but I watch what happens to those people. Not a lot of success. So I don't know all the other folks, but that's just my personal opinion on that.
And just so you guys know, I will be doing this type of a presentation every Sunday night at this time. So if you're in the marketing system, I'm promoting the marketing system. So if you want to invite somebody, you invite them out, let them listen to me, and there you go. You got a client. Plus, you're getting a done for you ILCA marketing system for those of you that want to market ILCA. So you'll have that whole system in place as well. All right, anybody else?
This is recorded anyway, so you can always send it to people.
That's correct. Anybody else? All right, well, good. Well, I'm going to be seeing, there's 2 things happening tomorrow. There is the Inner Circle call tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and the marketing training tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So you got 2 live trainings taking place. That's a benefit of being part of our community. And we hope that you decide to be a part of us. We welcome you. And we can't wait to go along this journey with you. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.